Hello friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a flip through of my 2018 December daily album. Now, this was the very first December daily that I ever put together. I actually used to scrapbook as a teenager, so in middle school and high school, then had a super long hiatus and fell back in love with scrapbooking when I discovered December daily. So this album right here was, I guess, my gateway back into this hobby. That being said, this is also the very first one I ever did. So you will see as I post my next December daily album from last year, and as I work on my album for 2020, that my style has evolved over time. And that is actually a pretty normal thing when it comes to picking up a new project like this. So let's go ahead and dive in. So I am a 2-album girl. I like to include a lot in my books, and it's just impossible to fit it all into one. So I decided to go with that and just declare myself a 2-album girl. So that is what I am now. This album came from Elle Edwards. I'm actually not sure if it was the 2018 album or if it came out before that, but I know that it was in the shop and I was able to purchase 2 of them in order for my albums to match. So let's go ahead and open it up on the inside. So this very inside cover right here, I actually took, make sure you guys can see that, I actually took the box that my product came in and I created this pocket that I adhered to the inside of my album. Now, back when I did this, I used red line tape. Let's see if I can get all this stuff out. I used red line tape to get all of the thing attached. And if I were to do this again, because now I think this is stuck in there. If I were to do this again, I would not use red line tape. I would sew it. So like, I actually think this card is stuck. Actually, wait, I might be able to get it. Yeah, okay, come on now. Okay, there we go. I wish I would have sewn it because the red line tape doesn't necessarily hold this very well. Like you can see that it just pulls right up. It's been in here for 2 years, so it might just not work after so long. I can stick it back down and it does go back together, but I do wish that it was a little bit more stable than it is right now. But this I added to the inside cover because I wanted a place to put the cards that we received in the mail from our family members. So that is what is in there. For my title piece, I actually did not order the main kit from Elle Edwards this particular year. I ordered different components and I believe a mini kit that came out that year from Paisley Press, perhaps. So I started out with this transparency, and then one thing you will also notice in this album is that everything is in page protectors, and that is one of the things that I have evolved with over time. Most of my pages are now outside of a page protector, but you know, we evolve and grow as we work through years of this project. So I have this Merry paper here. I added December 2018 and this little Santa wood veneer piece from Colorcast Designs that year. On the inside cover, I have my reason why. I talked about my reason why being to intentionally create moments of magic for my family. That is what my journaling is primarily about here. And I think we did just that throughout the course of the month. Next, I have a calendar in here that I just stamped with a few things to signify some of the bigger events that happen throughout the month. So I put the ornament right here on a day that we did a special event. We went and saw Santa on that day. We have a party that we participate or that we host every year on the 23rd. We had my husband's holiday party. So just different things that happened on the different days. I stamped them in there when I could. Then we start getting into the actual days. So for day 1, my story was all about an event that our town that we live in holds every year called Jingle Fest. And what they do is it's a light up parade at the end of the day when it's night, and they do fireworks, and the night ends with the grand Christmas tree of the town being lit up and everybody standing around it. So I have a picture of our family. It's really funny because this is not Aaron. Aaron's actually back here. He's just like dark and you can't see him. But myself, my husband, Isabella, who at the time would have been 3 turning 4. Yes, 3 turning 4. And Jonah was just born. We took a picture with a reindeer. I added journaling via Photoshop threw my number on there, called that good. This album, I also have a lot of flip up elements using the pockets from Snap, I think is where they come from, or maybe it's Simple Stories. I don't remember where those are from necessarily. If I can find them still though, I'll link them for you. So this is a card from the Kelly Perky, an older Kelly Perky mini kit that was released from Allie Edwards. And then I've got my journaling in here on top, talking about going to Jingle Fest. This was the first time Erin went with us. We went the year before, but it was just my sister and I with Izzy. Day 2 is all about getting our Christmas tree. This was the first year that we got our Christmas tree. And I took a photo, I blew it up to 6x8. And then when I printed it, I only printed the bottom 6x4 and the top left 3x4. Knowing that that was enough to know what was happening in this picture. Then I added this all about our Christmas tree card that was from an Elle Studio kit. I put in one of these craft tags, which I still have. I've got all my supplies right here on my table for this year. I still have a bunch of them. I purchased these from Hobby Lobby a couple years ago, the craft and the white. And I like to use them in projects like this one to help me tell more of my story. So this one I added journaling to with my typecast typewriter. Then on the back, I added some more photos over here as well, and then a couple more. So we just had a lot of photos from the tree lot. And the reason I have ones of the car and what I love about having this story documented in our album was when we went to go get our tree, it was the first time we ever got a real tree. And I drive a Kia, which I don't think I have in here pictured. I drive a Kia Soul. So it's one of those like hamster cars that are pretty compact and small. And when the guy asked my husband if he wanted to tie the tree through the window, my husband thought he meant like shove the tree through the window and was like, no, my kids are back there. I can't do that. So instead, his problem solving was to open up the trunk and shove the tree into the middle of our car and close it all in. So we drove home with our Christmas tree inside the car with us. So that was quite the experience. And then I came out and I was like, well, he meant like tie the strings around the car. Anyway, it's just a funny story and one that I'm glad to have in here because we will probably, hopefully, never make that mistake again. For day 3, I documented decorating the tree. Now, the caveat to this is that both of these stories, day 2 and day 3, happened on the same day. I just decided to tell the story of getting our tree for the second day and the story of decorating our tree for the third day because I don't mind telling stories on days they don't happen. I actually do that quite a bit. These cards that you see here came from a My Mind's Eye collection that released that particular year. It was so cute. I loved it. Day 4 is documenting our wish list to Santa. This is a story that I also tell every single year in my album. I always include some kind of pocket that I can hide the letters in. This is the original letter. I tell my daughter that, you know, we talk about sending letters to Santa. However, if she were to find something like this before she's ready to know about being a Santa helper or to be a whatever you want to call that, a joy helper, a merry helper, before she's ready to graduate to that level, if she were to find this, I would just tell her it's a copy, you know, and I'm fine with that. So that is in there, which I think when she's older, like an adult, I think she will appreciate having that in there. So then I've got a picture of her with it, and then I wrote out my own wish list for Christmas that year. And this is something I also do every year. I personally write a letter to Santa or I make a wish list that I include in my album. Day 5 is all about an event that I went to with my sister. We went and painted these Santas at a Painting with a Twist party, and now I use those as decoration in my bathroom. And we also had a really silly like snowball fight inside with some really giant cotton balls. So I talked about that here as well. Now this is an example of a day where 2 things happened, and I did decide to just tell both of the stories, but I told them both in a list form of like kind of generally what we did that day. And that's something I'm okay with as well. For day 6, I talked about some gifts that I had made. I actually made my family members, the women in my family, a bunch of Christmas, like homemade Christmas tags to put on their presents. And I sent those to them that particular year. So I took pictures of all the gifts that I had sent them, the gifts of tags that I had sent them for that particular year. Day 7 was all about seeing Santa. We actually saw Santa twice this year, once with my family and once with my husband's family. This card right here is from that Kelly Perky. A lot of the other ones are from Ellie's studio. Again, I've got another flip where we can see the Santa. See, there's one Santa and two Santas. There's 2 of them. And I have this really cute one of Izzy with Santa. I think one story with her, because when you do see the 2019 album later this week, my daughter is not a super big fan of Santa, but sometimes I think it depends on the Santa. So the one that we went to with my family was kind of like a timid, almost, I don't really know, standoffish kind of Santa. She did not like him. But then we went to this other one. So I just thought, oh gosh, she hates Santa. So then we went to this other one who was like jolly and kind and like the sweetest old man. And she just loved him and sat on his lap and took pictures and told him about how she wanted a corn on the cob costume for Christmas that year, because that was the big ticket item on her wish list. Hilarious. My kid is funny. I do think so. Day 8 is about a holiday party that I went to with my husband. So I've got a big picture here. Every year they do their party, and every year there are photo booths. So I included the photos. It's just 2 of the exact same photo. So I just stapled them together to like give it some interest, added some washi and some strings at the top. And then that slips in between the 2 pictures inside of the page protector. Just like so. So I've got the picture of us, a couple more pictures of us, and some journaling about the event itself, which also is interesting because his work does some kind of entertainment every year, and it's different every year. And this particular year was the worst entertainment they ever had. So it's funny to have it in here because we tell stories about that all the time. I love having it documented. For day 9, I talked about our annual trip to the biggest Christmas store in Michigan called Bronner's, which is up in Frankenmuth, and which is it's kind of like a German town here in the state of Michigan. So we go there every year to pick out our ornaments, every year, I guess, except for this year because of extenuating circumstances. But I have pictures of us picking out our ornaments and taking silly pictures, the entrance into the Frankenmuth town, and the story of just picking them out and how much fun Izzy had with that. For day 10, I'm telling the story of our home decor. So I took pictures of the different decorations that I had put up that year, a couple of close-up shots of some of the different things. I have this circular element, which to create this, because this year I did not have a cutting machine. I now have a silhouette, but I didn't at the time. So I printed out my picture as, all the way to, so it was an 8.5 or 8.25 by 8.25 because it needed to be square. Then I took a salad plate from my house, turned it upside down, and traced around it, which now I have a cutting mat. So I probably could have just cut around it with a craft knife, but you just make do with what you got. So this is one of my wreaths. I have quite a few wreaths, and I like to try and document one of them every year. So this one is one that my grandma gave me for Christmas one year, and it is Santa's from around the world, which is really, I just love that wreath so much. And then I have a picture of another tree that we keep in our basement because we just love all the trees everywhere, and a nativity set that we purchased that year for the kids. So a little bit of journaling and talking about how a lot of the decorative pieces that I took pictures of are things that I either was gifted or inherited from my grandmother. For day 11, I tell the story. This is a story I repeat every single year. I pick one ornament off of our tree and I tell the story of that ornament. So where it came from, who it came from, and how it came to be one of our ornaments. So this year I picked one of my favorite ones, which I just have this like joy of December, all is calm, all is bright. This is a transparency from that particular year that I layered on top of the photo itself. The photo is just a 6x8 photo that I blew up of the ornament, and I put it on top of a white foam core board in order to get a picture on a white background. So this is an ornament that actually came from my mom when she was a little girl. My grandpa was in the military, so she, or my grandparents and my mom and her brother for a period of time lived in Germany. And when they were living in Germany, my grandmother put together this ornament craft with the kids. So this is an ornament that came from Germany that was created probably with a lot of help from my grandma by my mom. So it's just a very special ornament to me, and I love having it in here. I love the ornament story every year is one that I look forward to. I love telling the story of our ornaments. For day 12, this is a story that I tell every year on the 12th, and it is about our Advent calendar. So for this year, we did a sock calendar, and I got one for myself and one for my husband. So every day, I took a picture of the socks that we pulled out of our Advent for that year. I have all 12 of them, and some journaling over on this side to talk about starting the tradition of getting the 12-day of something type Advents every year. The Merry and Bright, I believe, came from Elle. And then I typed out on my typewriter my journaling, trimmed it out, added it on black, trimmed that out in order to make it pop off of the background, and added that on top of the white polka dots there. For day 13, I just told stories about taking silly photos. I also added in our playlist and some of our favorite things that we were getting throughout the month. And then I love these. We have these silly glasses, and we love every year putting them on and taking funny pictures with them. It's one of our favorite things to do because we're just goofy. So like not every day has to have a really like crazy awesome photo. Sometimes it could literally just be a selfie and tell a story about like things that you love right now. I love that. Most, if not all, of these cards came from Ellie's studio from that year. The next one I have is a Hallmark movie marathon. Again, every year, my mom, my sister, and I get together and we bake cookies and we watch Hallmark movies all day for one day on the weekend. So I have this acrylic piece that says Hallmark Christmas Movies. That was from Colorcast Designs, as well as these acrylic pieces. I also added the all decked out rubber piece from Ali Edwards. And then the cards right here came from that Paisley Press mini kit. Added some journaling. And then I've got a big photo, so that's just all on the transparency, and I've got the big photo behind it of my mom and my sister and I in our shirts that my sister bought for us. That's all about watching Hallmark movies. So then I just added a very simple page on the back to close out album 1. I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and then we can bring over album number 2. So album number 2 has it's the same exact book, so that way I know that they all go together. Album number 2 I actually bought in 2019 in December, so 1 full year after I had completed it, because I did for a while have all of this in one book, and how I did that I don't even know, because this is album 2. So how I had them all together, Lord only knows. So this one I did a whole year later. I just wanted to make it simple so that I could throw it all in here and be done with it. So there's nothing on the inside cover. The title page just says "'Tis the Season," has some things. I layered them to look like a tree with a present at the bottom. Called that good. For day 15, we went to one of our zoo events here at the Detroit Zoo called Wild Lights. They decorate the entire zoo with millions of twinkle lights, and we like to go every year. Again, this is one of those things that we're going to be missing out on this year. That's really kind of a bummer, but we'll make do, and we just will really look forward to going in 2021. So I have some pictures of our family. I've got a couple pictures of the this fountain, which I took a picture of the fountain because my husband's great grandpa actually helped to construct it. So he worked with the construction team that created this fountain in the middle of the zoo. So, and I actually told the story of that in my journaling for the day. I never knew that until we were there during this event, and Aaron's dad told the story of how his great-grandpa helped to work with that. Then when you open it up, so to make this page, I took a 12 by 12 page protector and I cut off the top section. So then I just folded it. I scored it, folded it over, and then I can open it and I've got more area for more photos. So I was able to add in some more photos and also add in a little bit more journaling for that day. Now, this is another example where a lot of stuff happened on one day, and I already had a plan for other stories I wanted to tell that I didn't want to sacrifice. So instead of sacrificing those stories, I decided to just tell 2 stories for one day. So before we went to the Wild Lights, we actually went and visited my husband's grandparents and helped them decorate for Christmas. This was a year that we were not going to be with them for Christmas. We alternate our families every year. One gets Christmas Eve one year and the other gets Christmas Day, and then we swap it. So then the next year, you know, whoever had Christmas is Christmas Eve and whoever had Christmas Eve is Christmas Day. It's just been a way for us to try and stay a part of all of the holiday festivities, since all of our family lives right, you know, with under an hour from us, essentially. So we went and helped them decorate their house. I talked about that a little bit here and just included some pictures from hanging out with them that day. I believe all of this was the Paisley Press mini kit. I love the piece wood veneer there. And I also added which I added on top of the page protector so that it wouldn't cause buckling of the, the page protector underneath. For day 16, we started a new tradition. So in 2018, we started the tradition of doing a mall scavenger hunt with our siblings. So every year I put together a list of items that we have to find, and every year it's based on something different. This particular year, we based it on songs. And then the one that we did last year, we based it on movies. So this year's going to be a little bit different. Again, we're not going to the mall. So I have something different planned for us, but it's still going to be a scavenger hunt. So I'll still be able to document something like this again. So for this one, I've got a wooden 16. Now, I bought these from Target. I know they don't have them there anymore, but I stocked up on them because I loved them so much. Then I've got some of those Kelly Perky cards. I've got a picture of my husband and I. And then when you take out the middle portion, I have a picture of Aaron's twin brother and his wife, and then my sister and her fiance, and then all of us that we had somebody take of us. And something just fell off. Let's put that back on. So, okay, there we go. So then I've got this card in here that talks about the event, like how it came to be and how it was organized. I've got a photo of all of the things we were supposed to find that year. And then because we called it 12 finds of Christmas. So you have to find 12 things. And the premise is that you have to find the 12 things from a different store. So no 2 things can come from one store. An example, this year we had to find a Santa based on Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the song. We had to find a hat and mittens based on Baby It's Cold Outside. So just things like that. And then you had to take a selfie with them. So at the end of the day, we had 12 selfies, my husband and I put them in here with all of our finds. So you can see all 12 of the things that we went and found and took pictures with for that particular day. This is so fun. This is one of those events that we just super look forward to every single year. Next, I've got the picture of putting up our Christmas lights. I have this twinkle acrylic that was from Colorcast Designs. And then the cards and everything else came from that My Mind's Eye collection. I don't even know what it was called. But yeah, that's where that came from. The next one is me documenting the ornaments that we picked for the year. Every year we pick out our ornaments. So I had the story of us actually going to Bronner's. This is the story of why we picked the specific ornaments. So I've got pictures of each of the ones that we got, one of all of them together. And then the journaling card just talks about like which goes to who. And it looks like I didn't even really put why they were chosen, that's something that's different now. I'm much more wordy on my pages now than I used to be, but I know why. I know why we got those. For day 19, I documented crafts that Izzy and I did throughout the month. So these we did not all do in one day. These were just ones that we were doing over the course of time. I was taking pictures, and then I compiled them together to tell the story of crafting in December. So I've got a flip up with some journaling underneath, and then the photos in here. Most of these pieces came from Elle Edwards. No, this is Elle's studio, I think. Actually, that might be my mind's eye. Same here, and then this was Elle Edwards for sure. So that was day 19. Day 20, I documented my wrapping paper. This is a story I also love to tell because I love wrapping presents. I know it's not everybody's favorite, but I love it. So I have a picture of my rolls of wrapping paper with the 20 on top. This Mary card came from Elle Edwards Paisley Press mini kit that year. And then I have a picture of all of my wrapped presents, just like a top-down type picture of those. No journaling for this one, which is so crazy, but no journaling. For day 21, I documented Izzy's preschool holiday party. So they had props. We took some pictures there. I just have this fun tag in order to put the number in here. And then these double flip up. So this day, you know, this was talking about the preschool event itself, and I journaled about it. And then after the preschool thing was done, we went to go see the new Grinch together. So I've got a picture of us seeing the Grinch and whatnot there. I also added this as a shaker pocket, and I love the shaker pocket. It makes it so fun and festive. Super cute. The papers and the cards, I believe, were all from that Kelly Perky mini kit from Elle Edwards. Next, I am talking about doing gingerbread, so gingerbread houses. So this was on day 22. This actually, I think we did on Christmas Eve, and I might have documented it early. So the pictures actually were from later, but when I was doing my album, I documented it afterwards. So I've got a card here from, this would have been from Ellie's studio. I think most of these, if not all of them, were there. This little gingerbread guy, though, was from the Kelly Perky mini kit. And then I've just got pictures of doing the houses, and the story is about embracing imperfection because Izzy and I both are perfectionists. So that is a story that comes up for us a lot because we always are making mistakes, and we are always learning how to be okay with that. It's a continuous story. For day 23, every year, Erin and I host a party here at our house. We call it Christmas Adam, the joke being that Adam comes before Eve. So this is Christmas Adam, the next day is Christmas Eve. So for Christmas Adam, we always do some kind of group game that results in a white elephant exchange, essentially. And then we usually play two or three games with all of our friends, and then we just hang out and have a kid-free night. They go and stay at the parents' house for the night and just enjoy time with friends and family. The reason we started this is because all of our families here in Michigan, so when we see certain family on certain years, we don't see the other. So if we go to Christmas Day to my husband's Christmas Day, then I will not be able to see my cousins that year, and vice versa. When we go to Christmas at my family, we don't see his cousins. So this is a party that we invite our siblings, our cousins, and our friends to. So it's everybody who's kind of in our generation, and we just have the best time. We love it. And now everybody knows that every year on the 23rd, the Idunyates hold a Christmas party. So it's super fun. Next, I've got Christmas Eve. This particular year, we spent Christmas Eve with my husband's family. I've got cards from Ellie's studio, some pictures of the things that we had gotten. This was a card that I found at the Target dollar spot. I just thought it was really cute and wanted to include it. The back side, I put a photo in here. This is washi tape at the bottom, and I put a tiny phrase sticker at the top. Then I've got a picture of us in our Christmas pajamas. We always open up Christmas pajamas on Christmas Eve, and we wear them for the majority of the day, if not all the day, on Christmas Day. So I've got us in front of our tree here, or his mom's tree, and that is essentially Christmas Eve. I've got a picture of us reading the night before Christmas as a family, and that was that one. So then I have Christmas Day. Now Christmas Day usually spans over a couple of pages because there's just a lot that happens. So I've got this Christmas acrylic on the transparency, then I've just got the 25 behind it there. So when it's all layered together, it says 25 Christmas. On the back side, I have a large photo of Izzy opening some presents. Then I've got cards over here that are from a variety. I believe, actually, they might all be from that Paisley Press. This Fa La La acrylic I have floating here in the middle. Another flip up that talks about what we did in the morning, what we did in the afternoon, what we did in the evening of Christmas. I thought that was a fun lens to tell the story of Christmas Day with. On the back side, I have a couple more pictures of Izzy opening gifts, some more journaling about the gifts, a couple more. And these, like, this is so totally not my style anymore. I love it, but it's hilarious that, you know, it's not hilarious. It's so interesting how our style changes. So this was me trying out a lot of things in order to find the style that I enjoy the most. I don't dislike it. I actually think it's very cute and whimsical. It's just interesting at how different it is. So a couple more pictures here, and then we end with Izzy dressed up in her corn on the cob costume that Santa Claus followed through on and got her for Christmas. And this picture just makes my heart melt / cracks me up. I love this so much. So then I've just got a pattern paper here. I included our Christmas card for the year. We like to take silly pictures in our Christmas sweaters, our, you know, silly Christmas sweaters, and use that as our Christmas card. So that was our card that year. And then the very last thing that I always end my albums with is a mini album-ish for our elf, Mary. So Mary comes on the 1st of December for us, and every day she helps us tell the kids what our activity is for the day. So for this one, I created a pocket. I added this Mary acrylic because her name is Mary. That's what Izzy named her. So the pocket is there, and then inside the pocket I have six large tags that I created. On the tags, each of them has 4 photos of the elf and the number that pertains, and then they have just a little bit of ribbon at the top. So when they're all together, it's like this big texture thing here. But yeah, so I've got, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. So she brought us cookies, told us we were going to go get our tree, brought the kids some sweets, said, here's your letter for Santa. That was that snowball fight that we did, a silly thing in the bathroom. We did a sleepover in our basement all together in like sleeping bags, which was fun, but I probably wouldn't do that again, but it was fun. And she brought us donuts one day. She was the one who brought us our cool glasses to do selfies. We had some chores that we did one day. She brought us some s'mores to do in the microwave, one of the crafts that we documented on Craft Day. She brought Izzy her own little tiny tree to keep in her room that we now bring out, and she keeps it in her room every year. We've got a bath night. This was the day we went to the zoo lights, and she was letting us know we were going to go see the animals. She did a scavenger hunt on the same day that us adults did a scavenger hunt. We've got reading the story of Christmas, a nice meter that's just for funsies, our puzzle. Every year we do a Christmas puzzle, so she brought us our puzzle that year. She had just some more sweet treats for us, talked about making cookies that day and gingerbreads. This one is, what is this? Say hi to Santa for me. Say hi to Santa for me. Love Mary. Okay, say hi to Santa. Oh, you know what? We went to go see Santa. That's what that was. I'm like, why would I say that? Why would Mary say that? So this is where we went to go see Santa. She knew about it, so she said, say hi to him. This was a story for Christmas. And then on the 24th, she brought Izzy a letter from Santa, just letting her know that he's been watching and she was a good girl. And although she might not be able to get everything on her list, that he was going to do his very best. So that, my friends, is my 2018 December Daily album. As I said at the beginning, this was the very first December Daily album I have ever done. And I loved it so much that, of course, I am completely hooked. And I have a completed album to share with you from 2019. And then we are rocking and rolling on 2020. I hope that you guys enjoyed these what am I talking about? I hope that you enjoyed these flip throughs of my 2018 album. If you did, I would love a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button also so you can see all of my future crafty videos and follow along on all this December fun. And of course, if you have any questions about anything, let me know in those comments down below and I will do my very best to answer those. That is about it. So I will be back again. What is today? Today is Monday. So I will be back again on Wednesday with my next Project Life spread. And then on Thursday this week, I am live again. So come hang out with me live here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I am going to be walking you guys through the process of putting together a December daily advent that you can, I do it with my daughter, but it is also something that you can gift to a friend or a family member who may also be interested in starting a December daily this year. So until then, I hope you guys have a great week and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye now.